It's cheap, it's simple, and it's more popular than ever. Never mind the carbon footprint, Britons are still taking to the air. Today, EasyJet's 20 millionth passenger was expected to check in at Gatwick Airport, winning free flights to Marrakesh. But a new group of environmental activists called Plain Stupid has launched a campaign of direct action against the rapid growth of air travel. And they're using radical tactics to take on the government and the aviation industry, as Jenny Kleeman reports.
Plain Stupid want us to take our carbon footprint seriously, and they're willing to break the law to make us stop and think about it. In a time of heightened security, they're prepared to break into airports and trespass on runways to campaign against the environmental cost of aviation. Last September, they broke into short-haul Nottingham East Midlands Airport. Planes were grounded while Baptist minister and environmentalist Reverend Malcolm Carroll delivered a sermon on the runway.
We wanted to take action for ourselves, so service of remembrance for the 150, 160,000 a year who die through climate change. That's a figure from the World Health Organization. It's probably very, very modest. We know damn well that when we do these things, there is a knock-on effect. Other people are paying the price for our luxuries.
The Plain Stupid activists were prosecuted for this action. Some were convicted of aggravated trespass and criminal damage. Plain Stupid are calling for an end to airport expansion, a tax on aviation fuel, and an end to short-haul flights. Earlier this month, they took their campaign onto Britain's high streets, targeting the premises of travel agents around the country. They want to remind would-be customers about the carbon footprint they will leave behind if they fly.
This is basically just to highlight to people that we need to stop using flights, because if we don't stop using flights, our society as we know it will be destroyed. By censoring pavement like this, it's to hopefully get some people to think, what is this about, why are they doing it? And they could find out why exactly flying isn't such a good idea, especially short-haul flights.
Short-haul flights are big business. Falling ticket prices leading to increased demand mean that airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet have experienced rapid growth in passengers and profits over the past decade. Over 40 million of us flew with Ryanair last year, and the airline estimates it will double that figure in 5 years' time. The government says cheap air travel is good for the economy, bringing businesses together and giving many affordable access to foreign travel. But CO2 from flights is now the UK's fastest growing source of carbon in the atmosphere. Emissions from aviation fuel have more than doubled since 1990. Scientists warn if air travel continues to grow at the current rate, aviation will account for 100% of the UK's planned emissions quota by 2050, making our fight against global warming almost impossible. Plain Stupid was formed just over a year ago. They say non-violent direct action, through protests like this one against EasyJet, is the way to make the aviation industry and the government sit up and take notice.
I think it's really obvious that direct action is not only a valid, but a necessary and actually an urgent tactic in the fight against climate change. Because the consequences are really apocalyptic, you know, once you've looked into it a bit, it's like really nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. You know, if we fail to tackle climate change, then we've failed in everything.
Support for direct action against aviation has come from some unlikely quarters. As well as Baptist ministers, Plain Stupid's young urban radicals are teaming up with retired country folk who'd rather not see airport expansion in their backyard. Many of these people have lived near Heathrow for decades. They've been drawn to direct action because they feel legal campaigning isn't working.
Tell me something which is another alternative to writing letters, other than direct action.
The frustration and desperation because things cannot be allowed to continue as they have been up till now.
While Plain Stupid may mean well, their tactics may be questionable. For instance, STA was one of the travel agents targeted in Brighton, but the vast majority of their customers are travelling long haul, and the company says they are reviewing their environmental policy and the carbon footprint of their business. EasyJet are bullish about their environmental policy. They claim to be one of the world's most environmentally efficient airlines, and that only around 8% of EasyJet's flights have any sort of overlap with a rail alternative. They argue that increased taxation will only line the pockets of government and discriminate against less wealthy travellers. In fact, they accuse Plain Stupid of actually being stupid. It's unlikely, though, that any of this will deter the activists, who say they have even bigger plans to stop Britain flying in 2007.